Alright, what's up you guys? Welcome to this very exciting winter in the summer extravaganza live stream for SHARKNEWZ Live. What is going on? I am the only host of this channel, Shark Boy. How's it all going? Thank you guys so much for joining. As Mr. Freeze says in Batman and Robin, Freeze, oh, what does he say? He goes, a freeze is taking over. Something like that. How is everybody doing today? Thank you guys so much for joining on this very impromptu Tuesday night. And tonight is today is going to be a very frosty edition of the live stream because I decided for the 4th of July, I said, why not? Let's freaking color my hair white. Why not? So I was just walking by and I was like, you know what? It seems like a nice time to do it. We got the SNOWCAT HasLab announced and revealed, etc., etc. And then I said, let's just, for the occasion, go a little bit crazy today. So you only live once, right? So why not? How is everybody doing today? Thank you guys so much for joining that are in the chat, and I appreciate everybody who was in the chat before I even started the actual stream. So Antonio, Couchboy, thank you guys so much. Chris Yule, Sendel Krishnan, what is going on, guys? Thank you so much for joining. Russell Terrell, 49er Brian, all originals here. Thank you guys for joining. And for those that are going to be watching later on in the stream, I appreciate it. And those that will be watching but not in the chat, thank you for still joining as well. You guys are just as important as even if you're not typing in on the chat. So don't worry, I still recognize you guys. Shout out to Antonio for the shark emojis. Toy Odyssey, how's it going? Joe Barrett, welcome, says hi Shark with the shark emoji, awesome. Chris Yule, UAP Hunter, how's it going, UAP Hunter? Thank you so much for joining the community. Hope this works. Holy shit, Title Manisher, that's a awesome. Even Joshua says the great white shark. Okay, that's freaking sick. I did not even think about that. Awesome, thank you guys. That's actually really cool. Great white. Yeah. Okay, so we'll call this new hairdo the Great White. All right, so Title Manisher and Joshua, you guys get credit for this brand new hairstyle, calling it Great White. Thank you guys. And like I said, it's the 4th of July weekend. You know, we're all going to be enjoying with families, hopefully, and eating some good stuff. So I figured, why not? But for those that are here in the chat, let's all welcome UAP Hunter, who says he's new to the community. So thank you so much for even joining in the chat. Hope you enjoyed tonight's stream and see what this channel is all about. Hopefully you like it. But anyways, shout out to Joshua for joining in. Title Manisher and Alan Balcom, welcome. Antonio says white pointers swim here. Laura V says, hey Shark, love the hair. I was actually inspired by Laura's hair because I remember she said she called it, what did you call it? Salt and pepper? You call or pepper something? I don't know. Like, I was like, man, that's so badass. If Laura can pull it off, I was like, you know what, I can too. but Laura's hair is more OG than mine is, so but I do give Laura credit for that. Hope you're doing well, Laura. Hope you and the family are doing well. Thank you so much for joining. Couchboy says HasLabs have zero continuity, rare figure lovers, all drivers, A-listers, it's fine, they mix it up, but Destro and a Rattler or Quinn and SNOWCAT makes sense. I don't think so, because it was a Joe vehicle, they definitely wouldn't have added any Cobra characters. So that's one thing. So for anybody that was expecting anything Cobra related, we have to wait till 2026. Which basically means you won't get a Cobra vehicle till 2027. So yeah, so let's just say even if Laura says dad called it sexy gray. That's awesome. That's so badass. See, only dads can come up with names like that. That kind of give you like that smirkiness. It's so cool. Salt and pepper, got it. Bill says tiger. I'll only call it tiger shark if I color my hair like orange and black. Brisket and stuffed burger, says Alan Balcom. Damn, that sounds mad good. So yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, so based on a lot of the comments that I was reading on the channel, you know, some were disappointed that, you know, we didn't get like a Thunder machine. So the thing that's really cool about moving on to future HasLabs is that they've kind of set the bar pretty high in this case. And when I say pretty high, I mean in the sense that, you know, because if you guys remember from previous live streams from the Hasbro team, they eventually, you know, at some point they were just like, you know, smaller vehicles will eventually become retail figures or at retail. So we obviously at that time didn't know what vehicles they were talking about, but they did say that they want to implement having vehicles be at retail. But given the circumstance of what's happening all around the world, and then with Target and Walmart being such ass companies of not or barely even containing figures of classified in general, the Snowcat was one of those figures or vehicles that, you know, a lot of people were saying that it's a small vehicle, but then you know, and we just recently got the reveal for the HasLab Snowcat, so that basically puts all the boundaries off the table, because now if they do decide to do a Thunder machine, which is most likely probably going to happen at this point, then that means they could pretty much make anything. So now we can kind of assume that whatever vehicle that we assumed that was probably not going to be a HasLab, they'll probably just do it at this point. So that's what makes it more exciting now, because at that point back then, you know, when you would calculate or figure out what vehicles need to be made and classified, aside from the, you know, heavy Mobat and Mauler that everyone really wants, the fact that they've headed into the territory of snow, you know, who's this, you know, we don't know if next year they'll do a Cobra snow vehicle, or maybe they'll do a Cobra water vehicle. Because we know that next year will be a Cobra vehicle. It won't be another Joe unless they decide to change it up. But so that basically means if they could take a Snowcat, for those who owned original Snowcat, if they can take a Snowcat and vamp it up to this big beast that we see here today, that means the Thunder machine is very likely to happen. So pretty excited. Ionic Blood says, whoa, look at the hair. Yes, my subscribers or my friends here call it the great white hairdo. But thank you. Sendil says, whoa, Shark looking like Enzo Amore. For those who don't know Enzo Amore, oh my god, that's actually really cool. You know, back then I always used to do the Enzo Amore dance when he would I don't know how you describe that dance, whatever that dance he does in the ring. He's actually a WWE, or was a WWE wrestler, but I always admired his crazy white hair, so I guess mission accomplished. And not to mention, it's also raining outside, which is very good, so what better way to talk about toys and enjoy the rain. But yeah, shout out to Ionic for joining the chat. And Paul says Agent Silver Fox. Is that from Metal Gear Solid? I could be wrong, but welcome, Paul. Good to see you. And then A Romo says, what's up, Shark? Nice color hair. Thank you so much, A Romo. Appreciate it. Thank you guys for joining in the chat. We have Zartan as always. Listen here, Shark, the Snowcat is way oversized for no good reason. I'm out. Shame on Hasbro. Oh man. Tagworm says, ooh, snap, Shark, your hair looks like mine. Wow, mine ain't salt and pepper though. Mine is all silver. Also my beard. That's really cool. I mean, one day at some point, I don't know how long Classified will last, but you guys will probably see me with a silver beard at some point too. So anything is possible. Lara says, hey Shark, are you going to be backing the new HasLab? Unfortunately, I will not be backing this HasLab. And it's not really a money thing. It's more so I like the Snowcat. I like Frostbite. And if I were to fund it, then kudos to me in the sense of if it gets 100% funded, you get bonus figures in the Bivouac. But personally, like, aside from the Snowcat and Frostbite, I don't really need the other three. Now I get it that the other three are bonuses if everything gets 100% funded. So technically, you're basically paying slightly less for more rather than paying more for less. Because for those that thought that the Snowcat was kind of underwhelming, like I understand where you guys are coming from, but think about it this way: if you guys do do the Snowcat, then chances are, if you hit all 4 tiers, then you'll basically getting those 3 additional tiers alongside the vehicle that you're getting for whatever the price is. Otherwise, if you're just willing to spend that $325 for just the Frostbite and Snowcat, you're kind of selling yourself short and spending a little bit more just for those two. Even though the Snowcat is freaking massive, which we'll talk about soon. But A. Romo says the Snowcat can hold 10 figures. Vil says Thunder Machine, don't play with my emotions. Sorry, man. Yes, so we're gonna look at the photo of the size comparisons, so that should be fun. Couchboy says fish and eggs, coffee. It's a date night camping for lovers. So if there's one thing I learned about from this particular HasLab, with all the accessories that it comes with, this Snowcat seems like a field day for collectors who are more into photography than the average collector, because the amount of stuff that it comes with, and because it's a snow vehicle, it's gonna make those that are into photography feel more enjoyment out of it compared to those who don't live in areas where it doesn't snow, or those who don't know what to do with the frying pan and eggs and all that other stuff. Charles, welcome to the chat, says, hey Shark, I'm crossing my fingers for a Snow Serpent version 2. Is that the Snow Serpent that he's wearing purple, right? Purple face mask? Could be wrong. William Husted says, new subscriber, welcome. Let's all give William a hello here on the chat. He's a new subscriber, says, I thought the HasLab scared your hair white. No, this is a 4th of July spontaneous random do, so don't worry, it'll go back to black at some point. The Loneliest Monk says, nice looking vehicle, but I'll pass. Flint and Lady J are most interesting items in this one. Okay, so the Loneliest Monk actually likes the Lady J and Flint. Yeah, they're great figures. We'll definitely talk about that in just a bit. Let me see. Every time I scroll up on the chat, it just screws me up, and then I lost my spot where everybody is. Okay. A. Ramos says space is the issue. I totally understand. Will is waiting for his Rattler. Solo Sinner says just joined, apologizing in advance if the Great White joke was already made. No. I actually love the Great White. That's actually one of the coolest nicknames I've ever gotten right now. So thanks to you guys for saying the Great White hairdo. That just makes the shark hole theme aesthetic freaking awesome. Thank you guys. Josie Cooper, welcome to the chat. Nerd Alert, welcome. The legend Nerd Alert. Let's see here. Sendel says 325. Okay, so let's start by looking at all the photos now, because we've overdone our welcomes. Okay, I don't know where the hell I am right now. Okay, so starting up first, we're going to be taking a look at the HasLab Snowcat. So you guys here in the chat, you let me know, share your honest thoughts. Because well, Will Newman says you need a Jaws movie t-shirt now, Shark. That would be really cool. Sendel says the Enzo dance. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna after the stream is over, I'm gonna do the Enzo dance. And Zendo, I don't know if you will agree with me, but I thought Enzo Amore was actually a pretty decent wrestler, despite being jobbed out too much. It just sucks that they didn't have good plans for him. Nice RV, says Chris Yule. HoloNet says, welcome HoloNet to the chat, says pretty sure Great White is a band. Boocat says same price as last year, and instead of patches, we get a fun accessory pack. I'm trying to remember what the price was for, it was the same price? I forgot. Bloated. Antonio says Beastly through the 90s, says Will Newman. Vil the Great says vehicle sweet, but I'm not paying that price. Sean R says I like it, a little surprised how big it will be. Also, if Jay Couchboy is here on the chat, thank you for the recommendation of one of the topics we'll talk about later on. So I'll dedicate that portion to you if you're still here. Will Newman says mainly paying for the electronics. The electronics do look really good. Again, we have the photo for that, so whenever that photo comes up, we'll talk about it. But overall, the highlight for me looking at it is, yes, it's very impressive. It looks really good. But my thing is that I don't want to say that it, so somebody made a valid point, but this is kind of a tricky scenario, right? Because somebody said in the SHARKNEWZ video that when you look at the Snowcat, or if you put it in the sense of the let's say the HISS tank or whatever, I feel like some collectors wanted to have, not necessarily, I mean, this is really as updated as it can get, but when it comes to like attachments and extra accessories and all that stuff, I think it kind of didn't do so well in people's minds, in the sense that, I don't know how to explain it. It's like, how do you stay faithful to an original vehicle and keep its aesthetic while modernizing the vehicle, but then also not giving us too many attachments where it takes away from it, and then it ends up being a little bit too drastic. So some were saying that it doesn't necessarily, like, they kind of skimped out on giving us accessories. So I totally understand from both point of views. So when it comes to this HasLab, I'm literally like split like right in the middle. Like, I don't not like it, and I don't like love it, but I still think it's really cool. It looks badass. It's just you know, it's just Hasbro's way of saying they could take any vehicle they want and make it a big beast, if that makes sense. So all right, let's see here. Enzo was a menace on the mic. Wait, Benedict or what's his Sendo? What was Enzo's catchphrase on the mic? I forgot what it was. He always used to do that particular catchphrase. Chris Yule says, I hate this thing. If you take away the 6 missiles, all of the Snowcat is a glorified RV to me. The Snowcat should have been an APC in a mobile missile platform, not one or the other. That's valid. And honestly, I don't know what these YouTube crowns that says #1 and #2 things are on the chat. This is so weird. Alan says, I'm actually impressed, but only because they made it bigger than what it really should have been, but I'm guessing that it was so they could justify the price. Yeah, I think the price is really what... But then again, think about it. The HasLab HISS tank was only, I think, what was it, $300? And this, if you exclude all the additional prices, if the HasLab... This one is only $25 extra, but then you're also not getting an additional figure, but you're also getting a the Bivouac, the battle station. So I don't know how to make of it, but I think you're right. I think the size does have a lot to do with it, for sure. Solo Sinner says, I might back this. I haven't backed any of the others. Aesthetically, I like the look, and I'm feeling the Flint and Lady Jay and Frostbite. So, to piggyback off of Solo Sinner's comment, another thing that's kind of, I guess, I mean, 100% this thing will definitely fund, but it's one of those things where collectors want more of the Mobat and Mauler because that's aesthetically more of, you know, what G.I. Joe is, right? Like the military, the green and the camo, the beige, etc., etc. So when you dive into the Arctic style characters or even the Arctic vehicles, not to say it's like I absolutely love it, so I'm not like complaining, but it also backtracks us from getting an actual Mauler or Mobat, because if you kind of do the planning in your head, I'm probably gonna botch this, but if next year's vehicle of the HasLab is a Thunder Machine, right? Let's just say for the hell of it, and that's 2026, so you won't get the Thunder Machine until 2027, which means if we get a Mauler or Mobat, that won't be announced until 2027. And then you won't get that tank until 2028. So we're about like 4 to 5 years away from getting an actual vehicle that you guys mostly probably all want. So it's really the timing of all this. So having the Snowcat kind of delays the excitement of getting the Mauler Mobat to a lot of people. Solo, oh, I already did that. Zoran says wipers on the wrong spot. Russell Terrell says, shit, where did they go? Where did Russell Terrell go? I'm on the fence of getting it. Money is the issue because I want the new mask bundle set on Big Bad Toy Store, but can't do both of these in the same month. So to quickly go over the mask pre-orders real quickly, I was very shocked to see the price point of those figures. That was kind of like an immediate turnoff. I mean, as much as I love the Mask cartoon and would love to get the original figures, I mean, from what I was reading, a lot of the comments, people were saying that the bundle is worth more than buying individually. But for that scale and for that, I might as well spend that much and get more of the originals than like a re-release, you know. But that's just my collecting portion talking. Alan says, hey Shark, did you get my email with the image of the old Pursuit of Cobras from the catalog? I did not. I did not check my emails, but I will check it after the stream's over. Couchboy says, Alan, what comes with what? My perfect HasLab Thrasher Rare Zart. Oh, Thunder Machine, sorry. Dreadnoks and World Building. That is the sole reason why I prefer Ice Saber, although the Snowcat is pretty classic, says Holonet. Valid. Will Newman says, use PayPal credit and pay it back later. Very nice. William says, I love suspensions and turning front wheels. That is a very good one too. Yes. Alan says, based off the image, it carries 4 figures. Take off the missile launcher and it will seat 4 more in the back where they're getting a seat of 10. It's not there. I mean, seating 10 classified figures, that's really good if they can scrunch up in there. Ionic Blood says, oddly, I felt the same way when I saw this in the 80s. Joshua says, Shark is a good look. Last stream, this one, I got an email from Hasbro. Expect a figure soon. What? Will Newman says, it's cool. Caught in the middle. Josie Cooper says, I think it looks awesome. However, I'm vowed to never back a HasLab. They're all great, though just too big. I mean, yeah, so if you're someone that has the space for HasLabs, then, you know, more power to you. But this thing is... It's not longer than the Dragonfly, of course, but it's definitely bigger than the Hiss tank, and the Hiss tank is already massive. Sendel says, oh yeah, I loved Enzo and a standout over trash talking. Holonet says, now we need, what? William says, it'll carry a lot of Joes. I like the play set. Miles McDaniel, welcome to the chat, says way better than some patches. Oh shoot, Rhino Time with a $2 channel donation. Thank you so much, Rhino. Says I hope they paint those rims. Hopefully, I mean they're still in the prototype form, but I hope that they do actually, you know, it was still in the early on productions, right? So chances are we'll see more about that later on. But thank you so much for the $2. I give you the shark heart. That is a very kind, generous donation. So thank you, Rhino Time 117. Appreciate that. Benedict says you can't change that. Shark turns Super Saiyan. Hell yeah. Thanks, Todd C. Boocat says YouTube's got a weird participation ranking system going on. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why. Couch Boy says Jim Shooter. Yes. Vil the Great says Hasbro doesn't listen to nobody, wants another Flint or Lady J. Yeah, we should talk about that. Alan says, did you hear about the additional $70 HasLab fee that they didn't discuss or disclose? I do know that they charged an additional, what was it, $30 or 20 something, or what was it, $30 a surcharge. So that's one of the benefits of being a Hasbro Pulse member, is that if you were to if you were a Hasbro Pulse member, then you don't have to pay that surcharge. It automatically deducts from it. But if you're a non-Pulse member, then you're basically paying up to, like, I think $355, $360 for a HasLab. I could be wrong, but I didn't really calculate it. But yeah, so I think being a Pulse member kind of benefits because you also get free shipping too. So you're saving a bit more on this situation. I wanted a freaking tank, says Chris Yule. Ionic Blood says the Bivouac is $100 at Gridiron Studios. Oh shit. Triple X and Triple X, welcome. I think this is definitely your first time here because I don't remember that username. It says, love how GIJOE HasLabs are getting bigger and throwing more accessories than before, except patches. I mean, thank God we didn't get any patches for sure. Very, very good. Plain Vehicles says Bronx Rob, Mark D. Well, shout out to Bronx Rob and Mark D. I think you guys are new here on the channel, so welcome. Mawcoms, I don't even know. We're not talking about that. That dude. It's all good. But if it is, you know, that's cool. If not, then I guess it is what it is. HoloNet says too big. I want a classified Phantom X19. Couch Boy says mask was $350 was a pass. Triple X says I thought that too. Maybe they should have released the hiss but bigger. I mean, the hiss is already massive. I don't know how much bigger they could have done it without charging a lot more. But Marvin the Mind Reader, welcome to the chat, says second time commentator, long time lurker. All good, man. Thank you so much for joining. Says I'm just whelmed by this HasLab, not overwhelmed, not underwhelmed, although FOMO near the end will motivate many to back it, pushing it over the minimum. Yeah, I mean, you guys still have till August 14th to back it, so that gives you plenty of time to really figure it out. I mean, you know, the only thing that's, you know, that gets tricky is that if not a lot of people back it, again, as I said, you're going to be paying more for less. So you might as well have, you know, a lot of people back it, even if there's just one person backing it and international buyers and whatever, you'll still get the 2 figures and the Bivouac, and then you'll just, you know, even if you don't like it, you can always sell those and then enjoy the vehicle and then the Frostbite figure. And let's see what the next photo here. And speaking of Frostbite, so Frostbite is the initial offering for this HasLab, and Frostbite comes with 2 goggles. I personally cannot tell the difference at the moment. He's got the alternate head sculpt, 2 guns, and a thermostat, or like a coffee warmer, whatever the hell you call it. So yeah, the accessories again is really what makes it more for collectors who enjoy photography, because I'm one of those type of collectors where, you know, again, I care more about the figure. I care more about loading the figure with all his, you know, weapons and the helmets and accessories, etc., etc. But I would have no, like, I'm not a photographer, so I wouldn't have any use for the coffee warmer, right? So unless you're doing photography, you're taking the figures outside and then you're making them, you know, sit by the campfire. He's cold, and yes, this is 100% up your alley. But if you're someone like me who doesn't take toy photography, who just enjoys and admires the figure for what the figure is, then, you know, a lot of the accessories might be a bit of a letdown. And I don't want to say it's a letdown because I like the accessories, but it's just because I'm not a photographer, I really wouldn't know what else to really do with it. Thermos, yes. I said thermostat. All good. Malcolm says, did you back it? Yeah, I'm not backing. I'm unfortunately not backing this HasLab. It's a really nice HasLab, but I can't do it. Lady J was supposed to be the frying pan and the kitchen accessory. Ouch. Elvin Martinez Jr., welcome to the chat. Says, good evening, Shark. Happy to be back in your live chats. It's good to see you, Elvin. Man, I missed you, man. It's good to have you back. Roland Max is better than some patches. I mean, we can all agree that the patches are definitely better. I mean, sorry, the patches are definitely the worst tier to ever exist in a HasLab campaign next to the what was that Star Wars bag of bones from whatever that monster dude was from Star Wars. I forgot the name of it. The one that had the cardboard cut out and then the bag of bones. It was like that brown looking monster, whatever it was. Kai Trucking 67 says all in 2. Awesome. Alfred Pednio says we want Arctic Duke and Roadblock. Yeah, so that's another thing. Okay, we'll get to the Arctic characters when we get to the tiers, but I'll hopefully all remember that topic, Alfred. Or Alfred, remind me when we get to the tiers to talk about that. Will Newman says, put the patches in the frame and tell your grandkids you flew for Cobra. I mean, why not? Skyfall says, Ranker. Yes, Ranker. Chris Yule says, if I back this, I will want to convert it into a Tiger Cat. I mean, they didn't include any of the sticker sheets, so, well, it probably won't work too well, but if they had, like, tiger decals, maybe. Like a white tiger decal. Not necessarily like Tiger Force, but I don't know, maybe it's possible. Mark D says, I have to ask, is anyone going to actually do something with their patches, put them on the coat or anything? So Mark D is asking a very honest question. Is anyone actually doing anything with their patches? Miles McDaniel says, Iceberg with the polar bear. Polar battle bear set would be a good set for more snow figures. Well, Snake Eyes, that Snake Eyes with the radiation with the polar bear, you know, you're already getting that, so that's another great addition to this if you prefer. Hurricane says, my pulse ended the 30th, so I'll wait until the end to re-up to order one. Nice. Vil the Great says, burn the patches. But what was I saying? Yeah, I mean, I saw reviews of the HasLab Rattler, and at least for those that have gotten theirs, and I will give them credit. I think they did a really good job with the Baroness's face sculpt. obviously the Crimson Baroness was pretty decent, but I think the Baroness that comes with the Rattler is probably my favorite face sculpt. Because I think they did a really good job with her on that one. Checkpoint Alpha, welcome to the chat, says, hey Shark, welcome Checkpoint Alpha, it's good to see you, glad you're here. Shout out to Checkpoint Alpha. Joshua says, I was thinking of putting a patch on my trucker jacket, chicks would dig that, right? Yeah, dude. Honestly, put the patches on your jacket, go to a 7-Eleven or a Wawa or whatever, Speedway or a Speedy, whatever it's called, the gas station. I'm sure people will give you mad respect. Sendal Krishnan says, Shark, did you back the Rattler? Did you get yours yet? Or I did not back the Rattler, because the Rattler was during the time when the previous channel was going through its nonsense. So as you can tell, I was pretty pissed off, and why would I, after everything that happened, back, a HasLab? So I took my L on that one. So it is what it is, but it's okay. But I hope you guys do get it, because they did say, late June, early July, etc., etc. So you guys should be able to get it soon. Checkpoint Alpha says, good to be here. Well, I'm glad to have you, man. Let's see here. Somebody said something. Where did I go? Where did I go? Sorry, give me 1 second. I lost myself. Ionic Blood says, snow dioramas would look insane with snow jobs, snow serpents, and polar bears and this dang thing. Yeah. So again, it's not so much the concept of these figures, because again, the snow figures were always one of my favorite sub teams, and when you're back when we were all little, I'm sure we all used like white bed sheets, we all used whatever we could to make it snow like in the room and have like the Arctic characters do their thing. But as an adult, I don't know if I have the capability of taking a snowcat outside and trying to do the best diorama possible or create something out of foam. It's like, again, I don't really have that imagination or that creativity anymore. So I mean, for those that's why I'm really excited to see, for those that do back it and for those that do photography, I'm excited to see what you guys are willing to do with your snowcat, because what's going to make it even better. We can use patching for the currencies of the collection world. Patches are a sore spot. Crimson Baroness is hotness, says Tagworm. Nobody wants a cartoonish Rattler. No, I mean, the Rattler looks really awesome. Don't get me wrong. I like the Rattler. The characters look really awesome. But, putting them on my flight helmet bag, well, that's a good one. I mean, you can throw them on your book bag too. Zoran says, I don't trust Hasbro with the white plastic not to turn yellow. Yeah, I guess we'll find out in a few years. So looking at the entire scenario of the HasLab in general, so we have, I think at the time when I checked it earlier this afternoon or this morning, we had about 5,000 backers, right? We had almost 5,000, or we had 5,000 backers, I don't remember. So in order to have this entire set funded, we need 8,000 backers, and of course it's going to be $325. So again, the thing that I found funny, or not funny, but like the thing that I found a lot of people were not happy about was the missiles that attach to the actual skis. Now, for those of you who are not happy with the ski missiles, you let me know in the chat why this is a bad thing, or let me know why it's a good thing. But again, comparing the accessories comparing it to the His tank roughly had some add-ons which were good. I think the accessories do look a little bit less, but I think the price again really went more into the massive size to get this vehicle, because again it's bigger, right? So in order for them to probably adjust costing, they would have to, you know, make the vehicle bigger, but at the same time also take away a few additional add-ons, because we still have all the fire effects, which is fine, and then the attachments to it, and then, you know, they had that thing where I forgot what you call it, so Frostbite can put the 2 coffee mugs, and then he has his ice cooler, like that little tray compartment that gets pulled out from the side. So and the figure itself, it's fine. I mean, honestly, this is, again, you have to think about it this way. If you spend $325 on just the Frostbite and the Snowcat, you might be getting slightly ripped off, because again, if more people who want this can back it, and if you guys can all back it, then you're also getting the Bivouac and the 2 additional tiers. Even if you don't like the tiers, at least you're getting roughly your money's worth, because if you just invest the $325 in this, then you might be a little bit underwhelmed, in the sense of you might have felt like you overpaid. Unless you don't mind spending the $325 just for the vehicle and the figure, then, you know, more power to you. But I feel like it's better to have all the tiers, because the tiers, they just need to be unlocked, right? And the only way to unlock the tiers is just having more people back the HasLab. So Alan says 5,338. Okay, so we should be hitting at least 8,000 backers by probably the end of the week. So it's not the unfortunately it's not the fastest backed HasLab, because the His tank pretty much dominated that. But if the Joe team can hit 8,000 backers by like Sunday, I think it's manageable. If not Sunday, then at least next week for sure. Rachel says over 100 views, over 100 viewers. Don't forget to hit the like button. Oh my god, yeah, I forgot about that crap. Thank you, Rachel. If you guys don't mind, for those that are here, hit that like button. Help the channel grow. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Tonight's stream goal. What's the stream goal for tonight? If we can hit 60 likes for tonight, that would be dope. Let's see if we can do 60, because we're at 45 right now. Zeno Prime 1 says, long time listener, first time caller here. Welcome, Zeno, to the chat. It's good to have you. Thank you so much for joining in on the conversation. All right, so Todd C says, I felt like it was missing a tier figure that makes it a must-have. I know people don't like HasLab's locked figures, but it's the difference between a solid offering versus an amazing offering. Yes. Okay, hold that thought, Todd C. When we get to the tiers, we'll get to it. But actually, maybe I'll just talk about it now. So, you know, of course, the G.I. Joe team did say, you know, that the point of the HasLab is to not have like main official figures other than the vehicle drivers to be part of the HasLab. Now, if they had included Iceberg in the tier, or added like Quinn or something, whatever, sure, maybe it might have a lot more hype. But the thing is, where it gets very confusing is that they added 2, you know, like there's nothing wrong with getting the re-releases of characters, but when it's Flint and Lady Jaye, but they're just an Arctic brown, like the Arctic Lady Jaye and Flint, but they're in brown coats, that's what makes it a little bit annoying, because it's like, I understand that the point of the HasLab is to give you figures that are not going to be sold outside of the HasLab, but let's say for the sake of conversation that in the future they I forgot which subscriber said it in the chat, but if they release like an Arctic Duke in the coat, or any other characters that wears the like a ski coat or whatever, brown jacket, whatever, then some people might have FOMO and be like, shit, now the only way if I want to collect this, I have to go on eBay and try. I don't think it's going to be like super pricey to find that Flint and Lady Jaye, because I'm pretty sure a lot of people might be selling it. But for those that might get that FOMO later, it gets tricky, because Hasbro is known for making those small little gimmicks or small little tricks where it's like, oh, it sucks that you didn't back the HasLab, but now here are some additional figures. Like, what if they reveal Arctic troopers, like battle troopers that we don't even know about, or like white shirt army background jobbers, right? What if they reveal those and they look like freaking badass like characters, and then those who didn't back the HasLab are gonna feel like shit? Because again, remember when they revealed the HISS tank and then they announced the 788 fire team, people were kind of like upset because they're just like, the fire team looks freaking fire, but a lot of people did not back the HasLab, so then they're like, going kind of crazy, looking on eBay, asking on Facebook, trying to see if anyone was willing to sell for a HasLab so they can get their fire team. And then you got the red Techno Viper. So the chances of Hasbro screwing us over if we don't get the actual Snowcat, their logic of adding additional figures later on is very likely. However, they didn't necessarily do that with the Dragonfly or the Rattler. But then again, we still got like 6 months till the year, so we don't know if they could add more characters to the Rattler. But for now, they could add more Arctic, troopers to the because they're like ground troopers, right, to the Snowcat. Vil the Great says, when are we getting Iceberg? Someday. Hopefully, maybe PulseCon. That'd be cool. William says, they really should have demonstrated how it looks with a whole bunch of Joes riding into the battle. So, William does make a good point, but you have to remember that they're going to be doing a whole display at San Diego Comic-Con. So, for those that are going to be attending SDCC this year, they did say that they're going to have a whole display with this. So I'm pretty sure they're going to have a massive, like, frosty looking diorama set, and that's going to look freaking awesome. So I think that's when they're actually going to include all the figures on there. Maybe some bonus new ones, who knows? Like maybe a Steel Core, I don't know, Arctic version, who knows? Ionic Blood says, I sold when they showed the bum shelter. Arctic Roadblock says, Alan. Guyver Godzilla, welcome, says, it wasn't hard to give us Ice Wolf, but no, I want the community to give us a 3D Wolf. Well, the thing is, the Ice Wolf was a Cobra vehicle, right? So then you would need Ice Viper, and because that's a Cobra thing, then that just throws off. This is a totally, a Joe vehicle, so we kind of have to wait probably another few more years, maybe, unless next year they do another snow vehicle with Ice Viper, and then I don't know, it's possible. The Arctic Bat, Malcolm says, screwing us over again. I mean, it's possible. Hurricane says, White Stinger if you wait. Guyver says, Shark is still going for a Steel Core. Dude, Steel Core is awesome, man. They look great. Roland Max says, FOMO is real, then this might be the shortest window to back the G.I. Joe HasLab. I mean, yeah. Yeah, you're not wrong. Especially because it's a HasLab, and again, the vehicles are very essential to Joe's, regardless if it's snow or sky or water. But I totally understand. Let's see here. Lawrence Cooley says, it's supposed to be a centerpiece, so they give me stuff to fill out the scene. I mean, yeah, if you have the room for it, obviously that's great. I'm very excited to see how you guys are gonna post this. Jose Ramon says Shark looks like a little match Super Saiyan mode. This is my 4th of July, as the subscribers say, great white Super Saiyan mode. I like it. It's my 4th of July craziness. I felt a little, you know, why not? Spontaneous. Rachel says, we'll probably get Iceberg before the Snowcat ships, much like how we got Airborne before the Dragonfly. Oh, you're right. I forgot they gave us Airborne. So yeah, because remember when the Dragonfly released, they, Emily did say that for the Dragonfly, you had characters like Hawk, you had characters like Airborne to kind of accompany the Dragonfly. So, and then you had the Steel Core 2-pack. So I think instead of giving us like additional bonus recruits, they kind of just tossed in like a scenario for like those characters that kind of help out with the HasLab for the Dragonfly. But yeah, because then you also have, because NIGHTFORCE looks really good with the Dragonfly as well, color scheme wise. Vil the Great says, so we get a 4th Flint but no sign of Serpenter. Yeah, so because remember Emily did say if they ever re-release a Serpenter, it has to be without the air chariot because that's supposed to be an exclusive. But they did say that Snowcat was kind of off the table in the sense of they weren't going to do that vehicle in more of a retail, but Snowcat's now a HasLab, so chances are we might get another Serpenter with a different head sculpt. It's possible. William says, I love this a lot, but I'll wait to see how happy I am with the Rattler. Makes sense, yeah. All right, so that is the 8,000 needing 8,000 backers needed to fully fund this thing. But this is a cool little side by side kind of thing. So for those who love Snowjob, the exclusive, the figure, now we can see what it looks like to have Snowjob with Frostbite. So again, I'm pretty sure Iceberg would look freaking insane next to them, which would be really great. So I think they looks great. They're both gonna look pretty good together, and yeah, I have no issues. I think it just looks fantastic. Couchboy says, a couple in love on a date is all I see. Camping date, Flint and Lady J. Yeah, I mean, well, if you Google it, you'll see that there's a lot of there's a few scenes in the animated series where Flint and Lady J were actually together in the brown coat, so it makes sense why they would do it. You can't have Serpenter without his air chariot. Yeah, that's very true. I think Emily was fresh off of the Power Rangers Lightning collection, so she didn't quite probably get the essence of Serpenter, but Ionic Blood says Snowjob is one of the best figures ever. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, hopefully we'll get a retro one at some point. I mean, you know, they'll scale back on some of the accessories, but you know, a lot of people are still hoping to find another version of Snowjob, but he's nowhere to be found at the moment. Zoran says Frostbite needs to be thicker jacket. He is gonna freeze. I mean, it's probably well warm in there. Ken Matinee says, what are the odds we get a Cutter action figure without the whale? I think that's going to be a hard one because the whale is massive, right? So to have a Cutter figure without the whale, that would be a disservice to the actual vehicle. Unless they 100% make a statement and say we're never doing a whale, then we can say, okay, we'll get a Cutter, but right now I guess Cutter is still on the table with the whale, but again, the whale is freaking massive. But we'll see. Chris Yule says Snowjob looks upset compared to Frostbite. Couch Boy says the camp situation is a couple and a third camp date. It's got one cot. Yeah. Well, that's why people. Well, yeah. I mean, it is one cot, but you know, if you're backing 2 HasLabs, then you'll have 2. Snowjob has an extra layer on. That's what's up. Alright, so that's basically Frostbite and Snowjob together, but hopefully we'll see these 2 together at some point and, you know, whatever. But, I mean, they both look pretty iconic to the classic or vintage version, so there's nothing too different here. Alright, so here are some additional photos of the Snowcat, and you know, I mean, it looks fine. I see nothing wrong with it. It's just, you know, they got the treads, you got the moving, obviously the wheels have to move, you got the hooks, and then all the other attachments and stuff, and then the missiles. Yeah, so I forgot who said that in the chat, but yeah, the rims should be painted, they should be colored. Hopefully this is just a prototype, but otherwise, you know, if you're already spending like $325, you shouldn't be, you know, spending extra money to paint wheels to make it look even better. So they definitely cannot, they shouldn't skimp out on painting wheels, but hopefully we will see more better coloring or something. Popping wheelie, says Joshua. Thundercats, ho, says Ionic Blood. Nice. So yeah, so you guys can see all these photos on the Hasbro Pulse website. I just wanted to add these in there because it looks cool. But some of my favorite photos within this particular HasLab in general, this is what really makes me like it, in the sense that it has that frosty windshield. So I think that is a very nice touch to it, and then on top of that, the LED lights on the interior are light blue or blue, whatever you want to consider it. So that is for me a very good highlight, because I love the LEDs that they put inside the His Tank and Dragonfly, and it just lights up really well. So to have Frostbite sit in there and have it be all like crystally blue and shiny with all that stuff, I think that looks that's going to be really, really awesome. And then of course the whole frost on the windshield, that's a very, very nice attention to detail. And you know, I think like, I know you can probably buy those spray cans or whatever you want to call it, but the fact that they're including it, it kind of gives me that His Tank vibes of the extra canopy. But this one, of course, is frosted, so that's going to look good. So again, so think about it this way: if you live anywhere where it actually does snow, you bring this Snowcat outside, and then when you're doing your photography, imagine the sky. I mean, for those who probably don't live anywhere near snow, will have no idea what I'm talking about. But when it actually snows, right, a lot of times the sky does turn purple, and then the atmosphere looks really, really calming and soothing. So if you have your Snowcat outside in the actual snow, and then you have the LED lights on, and then the sky is like purple, and then you have like little flurries going on, holy shit, that's going to be one of the coolest photographies or pictures you'll probably ever take. You know, because the His Tank, you can do that pretty much on any terrain at this point, roughly. Dragonfly, you know, unless you have like the base stand, and same with the Rattler, because they're more you know, you can place them on the stands. It's kind of hard to do photography for those like outside unless you have strings or something, but this would be very nice for photography. Again, it's only going to look good for those that actually live anywhere near the snow, unless you live like somewhere in California or anywhere in, I don't know, Idaho. It's called Photoshop Shark. I mean, yeah, you could do Photoshop, but the Photoshop has to look really good though. You can't just take your photo and then make it a PNG and then toss it behind a background, right? Like it has to be nicely edited to make it look like something good too. The Loneliest Monk says, I just noticed that if your blue shirt was long sleeve, you'd look like MCU's Quicksilver. Thank you, man. Quicksilver is one of my favorites. I'll take that compliment. Unless it's an insult, then I'll still take it. But thank you. Quicksilver, so badass. Boocat says, hoping to do a Thunder Machine. I still have my original vintage Snowcat. But yeah, so these are my two favorite, at least photos for now. So hopefully whoever backs this, take some good photos with it. Let's see like how it works. Because again, it's like a frosty light blue and it should look really great. Alright, anyways. Let's see what the next part is. Alright, so here is the size comparison for the HasLab vehicles, and dear Lord, is absolutely insane. So honestly, I did not expect it to be this massive, because the HISS tank itself, when I hold it, like, it's already huge. So to have the Snowcat, like hopefully they positioned it properly, but to have the edge of the lights of the HISS tank be right in the middle of the Snowcat, and then the Snowcat still extends a lot further than that, that is huge. You know, like again, if for those that own the HISS tank, like, you already know how massive it is when you hold it in both hands, right? That's what she said. But if you have the Snowcat, it's basically, the HISS tank is half the, based on the angle, looks like it's half the size of that. So the Snowcat is really just, yeah, I mean, for 325, I mean, I guess it works. Compliment. All right, got it. For me, it's the off-road vehicle. Snow is not required, says William. All right, yeah, that works. Russell says, I use Photoshop daily. Yeah, they are. I agree. Unless you just tell AI to do it. Mother of God, says Ionic Blood. No excuse for scaling. Snow Glare, welcome to the chat, says Jumbo. Hurricane says the HISS looks small. I agree. Why is the HISS tank so small compared? I do not know. Tagworm says, this is one of the reasons why I'm getting it. Zoran says, I like how Lenny said it had to be big because it has 2-seaters. Alan says, I know they took the pull out of the kitchen, think aside from the Rivian electric truck. Oh wait, Alan said something, hold on. Oh no, Joshua says, can we talk about the adjustable steering column? That's a good influence from the third party guys, should be easier to load this vehicle. Alfred Padneo says, patches instead of a tent. Ooh, I don't know how many people would agree to that. Let's be nice, Zoran. But yeah, so really massive in size. I mean, again, I was not expecting it, but it is what it is. So yeah, pretty cool. For those that actually have the space for it, kudos. I definitely know this is way too massive. Couch Boy says it's going to have a bigger box than the bigger box Rattler had. Can we live amongst boxes like we live in storage units? Why not boxes? Well, if not, it could probably still be the same size box. Maybe they'll just have more pieces to assemble rather than a bigger box. But then again, what do I know? Alright, so that's the size comparison, which is pretty nice. Next, let's talk about Lady Jaye Tier 1, which unlocks at 10,000 backers. As a lot of you mentioned in the SHARKNEWZ video, Lady Jaye has a brand new head sculpt. She probably is the best Lady Jaye head sculpt we've seen in a very, very, very long time. Now, the only thing that makes this Lady Jaye, because here's the thing, even though we do have a retro Lady Jaye, it's still not cartoon accurate, because in the cartoon, Lady Jaye had a lighter green torso, but with a darker green pants. Here, we can see that we have a Lady Jaye with dark green pants, so it's more cartoon accurate. But she has more of, again, the better face sculpt. So if you don't like the first two Lady Jayes that Hasbro released, then you know, your only way to head swap Lady Jaye onto another, or your previous Lady Jayes is, you know, the best bet. However, there are people hoping that they re-release Lady Jaye again for a fourth time with this head sculpt, but giving us more of a cartoon accurate color scheme. So who's to say, or if they will or won't, not sure, but hopefully at some point maybe they will or won't, who knows. Ralph Vader Guy says, hey Sharkites, a little late, loving this. Thank you so much for joining, Ralph Vader Guy, it's good to have you. So Lady Jaye comes with another alternate head, she comes with a cup of coffee, she comes with her spears, and then she comes with a fishing pole, which we'll talk about for the next tier. Is that the backpack I see? So again, this is one of those things where it's cool that they gave Lady Jaye a fishing pole, a fishing pole, right? Now, the thing that kind of makes it a little challenging is the fishing pole goes hand in hand with the next tier that comes with the fish. Now, like I mentioned before, because I'm not into like all that photography stuff or like the diorama sets and etc., I personally would have no use for it. But is it a nice accessory? Sure, but that means I don't know if this will be a make or break deal for most of you, but chances are if the second tier does not get unlocked, then you guys won't have a fish for her to you know, have in your displays, unless you have the NECA Jaws figure. Then that could be something. Let's see, wait, is that oh, I read that. Her backpack is an upgrade with 3 javelins, each getting their own space according to Lenny, says Joshua. Good stuff. Rachel says, Lady Jaye looks great, but I'm still underwhelmed with the stretch goals. Yeah, okay, so while we're on the topic of that, I think in my last live stream, you know, a lot of you were saying you want to have, like, you know, any Joe character in a brown coat, right? And most of you were saying Lady Jaye because it should have been more of a female character. So this tier, this particular tier, I have no issues with. I think it's fine. I think despite, you know, I don't want to say a wasted slot because, you know, these are supposed to be like exclusives for the HasLab, but this makes sense because it's okay. You're getting a re-release of a Joe character, brand new head. She has the brown jacket. It helps, etc. Where I find it underwhelming, I know a lot of you probably enjoy, you know, having the Flint figure, but I think the Flint figure was probably the underwhelming aspect of it because it shouldn't have been Flint. Now, I know you guys are probably going to say, you know, they're not going to put main characters behind the paywall, which is 100% true, but at the same time, it's like there are other Arctic characters that are not necessarily as popular that could have been a tier to kind of aid or assist the Snowcat. So that's pretty much my point of view on that. Couchboy says, Alfred, it's cold Slither for DC. Oh, I don't know what you guys are talking about there. Ralph says, so tempted to order one, but if I skip, I'll order 2 Thunder Machines when released. But that's the thing, we don't know when the Thunder Machine is going to release. But hey, it's all works. Surprised that Flint gets an apron. Tagworm says they should add this YouTube chat program so we can share our photography. That would be really cool. Arctic roadblock for Cobra Commander once a man. I think we probably exhausted Cobra Commander at this point. Other than the hooded Cobra Commander, there's really not much else we can ask for at this point. But yeah, so again, this Lady Jaye is fine. It's a good one. I have no complaints or issues with it. Again, you need 10,000 backers. So if whoever is checking the Hasbro Pulse website, I think last I saw was 5,700, or it was said in the chat, it was 5,700 something. So we should be hitting 8,000 roughly by maybe Sunday or Monday at most. And then to get 10,000, I assume we should be hitting 10,000 at least within the next 2 weeks. Or maybe less, but I think within the next 2 weeks we should be hitting the 10,000 backer mark. Which should be enough time for everyone. Alright, so again, good tier. I have no complaints with it. It's nice. But this next tier is kind of like the tier where some people have a little bit of issues with. Some really like it, some don't. But it's the Bivouac, which, aka the battle station, which unlocks at 12,000 backers. Now, if you're someone that really wants that Flint figure, the Arctic Flint figure, then in order to get that Flint figure, you have to get past the 12,000 in order to get to that Flint. So here's like my thoughts on this one. I personally do not have any need or use for this. Again, I'm strictly more of someone that just loves the figures. The vehicle's fine, but again, this is more in the lane of those who, again, would love the photography, would love to do crazy dioramas and displays. And this, again, the fire pit looks great, the shovels, and then you got the 2 fishes, and then the cot, etc., etc. Again, all great accessories, but unless you're someone that has a use or knows exactly what to do with it, then that's great. But for me, I think this should not have been a solo tier itself. I think they really should have just added an additional figure. Maybe, I don't know if that would increase the cost, but I really think a bonus figure that comes with the Bivouac would have been a very nice incentive to get to 12,000 backers. Rachel says the Bivouac makes no sense in an Arctic setting. An open tent will not protect you from the Arctic environment. So my only thoughts of how this works is it probably is one of those things where if you're using the Bivouac and the snow is kind of angled and it's hitting you at a certain degree, then I guess you have to place the Bivouac that protects you from the snow and how it comes at a certain angle. Even though it's an open, you're still going to get cold, you're still going to get the flurries and the snow all up in your face. But I think it's, again, if I were to really put my mind to it, I think it's just one of those things where it just protects you from the falling snow from whatever angle, and you just position it that way so you don't get all that snow on your neck. That's my only consensus of what I can think of. The goods, I don't know what you just retracted, but this is definitely your first time here on the channel or the chat, so whatever you put, hope it was a good one. Couchboy says old blind dude may come before Quinn since they are doing mass device. I like Quinn. Yeah, I mean that the blind woodsman that came with those like 5 or 6 wolves or dogs, whatever. That would be cool. From the wind, says Nerd Alert. Yes. Starlink dish. Rachel says if you go to sleep on that cot, you're catching hyperthermia and will never wake up. That's true. You'll be like Jack from Titanic at that point. But again, you know, I've seen a couple of people who do what do you call it? Who do camping out, like, you know, those random YouTube videos, those ASMR videos. I don't think it's technically meant for sleeping per se. I think it's really, I mean, but then again, what do I know? But I'm just saying it's probably just, you just chill there, you kind of cook some food, kind of nourish yourself, wait till it gets like dark again, and then you kind of pack it up and then continue the journey or the mission. I mean, you're absolutely 100% correct. This is not a sleeping thing to have. You'll pretty much die. But yeah. Victor says lol. The OG set was cool. Oh, I forgot to do a comparison. Damn. That sucks. A Romo says 94 watching. Oh, that's good. Shout out to everyone who is watching and that's in the chat right now. Thank you guys so much for joining in on tonight's stream. Tagworm says it's supposed to be used with a partner. You and your partner carry a half. You can do half or whole tent. Hold on. Somebody said, oh, Wounded Snoogans. That's a nice name. First time here in the chat. Definitely says SHARKNEWZ. But what if you had 2 tents to put together? That would be cool. Yeah. So you're absolutely right. It's very similar to the trench viper with the porta potty. Like if you have one, that's fine. But the whole point of the trench viper is you got to build the trenches, right? Or the whatever the hell, the porta potties. So having multiples of that will definitely make the scenario look cooler. So this is one of those things where you're absolutely right. Having more is definitely better. But again, that's only if you know, it's a $325 set. So I don't know how much money people have to blow to get 2 of these or 3 just to have like them put together, unless, you know, you're backing like, I guess, what is it, like 5 per person? So who knows? Is this a scene from Sunbow? No, I think it pays homage to the original vintage figure playset. Oh, Checkpoint Alpha is still here. That's good. The Goods says, I don't know why I deleted the comment. If the tiers contain lesser known characters, people would have complained like they did with Glenda on the Dragonfly HasLab. Yeah, I mean, but then again, if you think about it, some people are still complaining that we're getting a re-release of Lady Jay and Flint, right? So it's kind of like damned if you do, damned if you don't. I mean, people will complain regardless, right? Like they'll get upset that you're getting a what do you call it? You're getting, shoot, I lost my mind. Oh, you're getting a new character, but not so much of a popular one behind a HasLab. Like, let's say Glenda, for example, or you can get a re-release that also makes people pissed off, saying, great, why do we need another version of, because if you already have Flint and Lady J, regardless if it's the first official versions or you're getting Flint, the retro one, or the original first classified from the video game one, then at this point you're getting, like, you know, this is, what is it, the third, and if you already have Tiger Force Flint, then, you know, you're getting 2 at this point. Or you're getting like 4 Flints now? 4 or 5 Flints? I lost track. It's more of a wind blocker. Correct. And you get a mat to separate your body from the ground. It works. Joshua says, I figure this is supposed to be like those tents you pull out of an RV. It's just to get some extra outdoor space to cook from stove that comes out of the cat. Yeah. Zoran wants 500 Canadian. Ionic Blood says, shoot, I lost it. You've been invited to the cookout. Let Lady J fix you a plate. Rachel says, people have been asking for play sets, so they are using this HasLab to play for the tooling. We'll see this again. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Beginner Gunner, welcome to the chat, says, what's up? I had to get my workout in. How's everyone doing? It's good to have you, Beginner Gunner. Everyone's doing well. They must have had some more winter figures coming. Yeah, I mean, because even Roadblock is a chef, right? So maybe we'll get Roadblock in a coat, and he'll probably do his rhyming, and then he'll probably cook us some crazy chili, which would be pretty good. And then, because there's an image on Google that has a lot of the Joe characters wearing, like, coats, right? Because they have, like, certain Arctic missions within the animated series. So chances are maybe they'll release more characters, because I personally think it would be sad or disappointing if the G.I. Joe team does not stick with the Arctic team, and not to say that everyone needs to buy it, but if they don't continue on with the Arctic, like let's say like Duke in the coat or Scarlet in a coat, if they just stop at this, then it kind of makes the Flint and Lady J a little bit useless. You know, like if you had, not everyone needs it, but if you're someone that's interested in having like a very cool snow playset, then you could literally have all your Joe characters, or at least another additional 4 to 5 like new characters wearing the coats, and have like a really cool like frosty cookout compared to just having Flint and Lady J. Otherwise, you would have to buy like third-party coats and stuff like that to kind of add to your characters. Cobra, didn't we use to get 4 figures for HasLab? Yes. I forgot. Sendel did send me the a chart of, yeah, the last. Hold on. His tank had the the driver, tactician, the female gunner, and then Cobra commander. Dragonfly had Wild Bill, Glenda, Ripcord, and Crazy Legs. NIGHTFORCE. Rattler only had Wild Weasel, Gunner, and Baroness, and then we'll exclude the patches. And now this one, we only have Frostbite, and then Flint and Lady J. So I think this might be the, I don't want to say weakest, but I don't know. This might be the weakest HasLab tiers to date. Not the Bivouac, I think that's cool, but I don't know. Maybe you guys will disagree with me on that. Benedict says this will be my 4th Flint, but with an alternate head, looks like Sub-Zero from the Deke cartoon. Oh shit. Victor V says, I get Lady Jane Flint, they go with the theme, but at least instead of the patches, I mean they could have gone through in a new random figure. Yeah, I mean that's pretty much what I'm with you on that one. William, they're playing Doctor All Night. Joshua says, according to Google, the word bivouac has roots in military terminology referring to temporary camp. Gotcha. So yeah, I mean, it does play out the scenario. Why is nobody seeing they totally stole the pull-out kitchen from a rare... Okay, I don't know what Zoran is saying. Tiger Force APC says Alfred. Flint and Lady J weren't needed. The whole HasLab is an RV camping set, says Chris Yule. Ralph Vader guy says Bazooka. Alright, so that's at 12,000 backers. I'm pretty sure we'll get this whole entire thing funded, because you have to remember that by the end of like late August or early August, we should have an influx of backers, because again, not everyone is a collector for keeps, because some would love to buy, you know, additionals to sell. Some people are also I don't want to say scalpers, but some are also just, you know, investors as well for the toy hobby. So yeah. All right, so now moving on to the last tier, which we have Flint, Arctic Flint at 14,000 backers. It's not impossible to reach. So again, I think we will definitely reach the 14,000 backers for sure. He comes with a pan of frying eggs and sausages. Josh Wolfgram, welcome to the chat, says, what's up, you guys? Just tuned in. Yo, Joe. Rachel says, I would have preferred 3 obscure Arctic characters over these stretch goals. Take your pick from Wind Chill, Cold Front, Ice Storm. Yeah, I'm 100% with you on that, Rachel. So this is, again, another one of those things where if the Bivouac gets unlocked, then you have the campfire to fry your eggs. Otherwise, you're going to be making cold omelets or sunny side ups. The weapons are fine. Pitchforks, whatever, cool. Coffee cup, man, these guys they went crazy on the coffee cups. And then the alternate head is fine. But the pan with the eggs, the sausages, oh man. An interesting set of additional. So yeah, this, I don't know how to really make of it, man. It's I get it, Flint and Lady Jaye, the love duo, fine. I get it, Lady Jaye in the Arctic gear and then have Flint in Arctic gear, fine, like it makes sense, but I don't know. See, this was one of the reasons that kind of turned me off from wanting to back it. I think they're fine. They're good looking figures. Flint's head sculpt, all that looks good. It's just I don't like, I don't know. Ionic Blood says every Dominican household knows that coffee maker thingy. Surprised Emily didn't get an ice cream soldier in this HasLab. Benedict says would be better if the retro wasn't coming out so soon. True, but then at the same time, this one's not going to be out till next year, so we have a lot of time before it releases. Ralph says, I personally like the whole set. It's like a mission in the snow. Yeah, so don't get me wrong. I'm not, how do I say this? I think the whole HasLab, like the HasLab as a whole is fine. It's just, I just don't know how I mean, because again, the point of the HasLab is to not have like characters that everybody wants behind the paywall, right? So that's excluding like Iceberg and like Cold Front and whatever the other ones are. So but it's one of those things where you want to have an incentive for backing it, right? So it's like, okay, the Snowcat and Frostbite 100% needed, but then you get to Lady Jay and Flint and you're just like, ugh. I mean, I get it. I know you can sell it, you don't have to keep it, etc., but I don't know. I'm just like, like it kind of turned me off. I'm just like, I don't know if I need it. Snow Mission. Flint number 4 says Vil the Great. Rob Culcor, I think this is your first time here, says, what's next? A toilet? Another porta potty for sure. A snow porta potty. You know what they should have done? They should have made like a build, what do you call it? Like an ice shack? An ice shack where it has like, like the little square inside where you can do fishing. That would be pretty cool. 2 more icebergs and possibly a stalker. I mean, I could So okay, so not to say that I don't like the Bivouac, but let's say with the Bivouac, if they included like a stalker, that probably would have been cool too. Chris Yule says an igloo. Zoran says no toast. Nope. I mean, it's also unfortunate that he has no salt and pepper. It's really just 2 straight up eggs, so it's going to be bland as hell. Very unfortunate. Couch Boy says Destro wants a HasLab with his girlfriend Baroness. He's jealous. He wants a camp date. Man, Couch Boy is really, he's not happy with this one. Sunder Ganesan, welcome to the chat. Says hello, Shark. Hello, brother. Good to see you and have you here. But I want to give a shout out to Couch Boy because he's the one that kind of inspired this next portion. Because if you look at it as a whole, like individually, it probably doesn't make sense. But then you look at both of these 2 figures together. You have Hawk and then you have Flint. Now Hawk, of course, is roughly classic to the original for version 2 or whatever. However, because Hawk comes with the black gloves, you can kind of utilize this Hawk with this Flint and kind of also have Hawk be part of the winter missions as well. And I think that probably would be very cool because Hawk is one of my favorite characters, and the original Hawk, the O-ring version, didn't have gloves. So the fact that this version does come with gloves, it kind of gives you more, it could give you like a wintry vibe. So if you want to have your Flint and Hawk kind of have, and plus Hawk comes with that bomber jacket, with the fur, or the what do you call it, the collar. So this, I don't know, I guess they kind of both work together. So shout out to who is it, Couch Boy, for this idea, because I honestly did not realize this myself, but these 2 would definitely be good together for sure. Hawk is wearing a lady's jacket. Oh, LOL. Josh says, I really like this Flint version the best myself. And also keep in mind, I don't have both of them together side by side, but Flint's arms are also very similar to Frostbite's arms. So Hasbro pretty much saved some money on the tooling aspect, because I know Frostbite has the extended fur, like from the neck, but right from the bicep swivel and downwards, it's the same exact as Flint. Therefore, they saved a bit of money on that. So you're kind of getting like some reuse parts here and there, which again sucks. And some of the torso pieces is very, I think it's the same as Frostbite as well, which also sucks too. So nothing too much of a new tooling. So kind of Hasbro being sneaky there on that part as well. But Josh says, love the hair. Thank you so much, Josh. I appreciate it. I know it's a very hard departure from my normal black hair, but like I said, it's 4th of July weekend coming up. I wanted to go a little crazy. Lady J Snow Bunny, Snowcat is my favorite vehicle. Frostbite looks great. If that wasn't the case, probably wouldn't get it. Mawcom says, Shark, we are at 85 viewers. A toy kind of mooth at 40 viewers. Oh, man. It's okay, man. I'm not competing with anybody. I'm very grateful for, even if I have 10 viewers. But thank you guys so much for the 75 likes. I really do appreciate it. Thank you guys for joining as well. For anybody that's here on the channel, thank you guys. And for those that are going to be watching later on in the stream, I really do appreciate it. Yeah, so otherwise these 2 look fine together. Alan Balcom with the stats says we have 5,767 backers right now. Okay, so we will probably make the 6,000 backers probably, let's say it's Tuesday, right? So probably by Thursday, I suppose. But Shark, if it's the 4th for you, need red and blue in your hair. That's true. That I think I probably would have got my ass kicked if I had red and blue hair. Ken Matinee says this Hawk along with the Big Ben. You're right. Thank you, Ken Matinee. Big Ben. Yes. You're right. Sunder Ganesan retracted the message. I don't know what that is. Checkpoint Alpha says he's still here. Thank you, Checkpoint Alpha. Let's see here. There should be a Summer Beach 3-pack, Baroness, Lady Jane, Scarlet Bikini edition in that episode. Bikinis, that'd be funny. Says Ionic Blood. Sunder Ganesan says, I wish they added a soft goods cover for the Snowcat, which we can put on when the turret is removed. Already have soft goods for the Bivouac. Soft goods. Oh, okay. I mean, that thing is huge. Do you think the Joes would have the time to kind of cover the Snowcat with soft goods? I mean, it's a good idea. That's actually not a bad idea. But not sure if... That thing is massive, right? So imagine you would need at least Flint, Lady Jaye, and Frostbite, and Snowjob, and then Big Ben, everybody helping out, like trying to put the cover over the Snowcat. Arctic Storm Shadow 2, enough classified marked Cobra. Yeah, Arctic Storm Shadow is a good guy, so that works. Zoran says Bikini Sub Team. Ralph Vader guy says hope the turret has a stand so it can be used for a figure when off. Just cover the back when make it a troop transport. Yeah, you can. Yeah. No, these are all good ideas. Maybe that's the Joe team's incentive of saying you guys have to use your imagination for it. So who knows? But yeah, so overall, we have till August 14th to back this HasLab campaign, and I believe from what Alan said previously, 5,700 backers, 700 plus. All good, Russell. Thank you. But looking at it as a whole, it's one of those things where, yes, the vehicle is freaking massive. We have 3 characters, 1 which is brand new, 2 which is exclusive to the HasLab, but it's kind of like mixed reactions of Flint and Lady Jaye, needed or not needed. You know, that's really up for debate. And then the Bivouac, the tent with the fire, and then the fish and sausages. I know that comes with Flint, but overall, I personally don't know what I would have this be priced at, like as a scenario. But do you guys feel like 325 is too much for all this, or do you feel like 325 is just good, like it's good enough, like it's not as expensive as it should have been or could have been? Ralph says the turret needs to what? Needs to... Oh, I read that. Did I read that? I don't remember. Couchboy says QUICKKICK version 1 is a snow character, like Die Hard is a Crimson movie. Is Die Hard really a Crimson movie? We don't know. Russell Terrell. Okay, yeah. Oh, I read that one. Benedict says, wouldn't mind a NIGHTFORCE Arctic character as an unlockable tier. Ooh, NIGHTFORCE unlockable. That's intense. The Goods says, we know how the Marvel Legends team feels about scantily clad characters. How does the GIJOE team feel about it? Maybe we can get them in bikini team. Oh man, I don't know. Copy Joe's Toys says, hell Shark, how's it going? Copy Toys, Joe Toys, it's good to have you here. This is by far the most expensive year for a Joe collector. Yeah, not only is it expensive year, but it's also the year where we have bigger vehicles, because we have the Awe Striker, we have the Snake Armor, the Snowcat, and then the whenever the hell the Trench Viper releases, and then I don't know what else that came with it. Vamp was last year, so yeah, so roughly like some bigger vehicles this year. Too much as it is, says Alan. The Good says, I think all HasLabs going forward will end up being 325. Ralph says 325 is the new 300. That's true. The value of money is going down. Mawcom says, man, my opinion changed 100% once I saw the size comparison between the tank and the Snowcat. Because of that, I think they priced it right. Inflation and tariffs BS, I think the price is fair. Yeah, so if the Snowcat was smaller than the HISS tank or roughly the same size, then maybe, but the fact that the Snowcat is bigger than the Snowcat, then hell, that's like, I guess that's probably the incentive. Oh shit, Antonio with the $5 says, keep up the good work, Shark. Thank you so much, Antonio, man. Thank you so much for those $5. I really do appreciate it. I appreciate the channel donation. From the bottom of my shark heart and gray and white hair, thank you so much for those $5. And thank you to everybody here in the chat and those that are watching now or watching later for supporting the channel. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I really do appreciate it. Everybody that's taking the time to write in the chat, thank you guys for putting in the time to do so. Without you guys, the chat would not be as fun. And on top of that, for those that are also watching that are not in the chat, thank you for still sticking around. I appreciate all your support, even if you're not on the chat. You guys are awesome. Thank you guys so much. Yes, and hit that like button. How many do we have today? 83 likes. We're good. We're fine. HasLabs have zero continuity, always expecting unexpected price figs, no way to calculate what's next, what's tiers. I mean, think about it this way. What if they did the Thunder Machine, right? And then you have Thrasher, which is fine. But people would probably want to have other, maybe Dreadnoks as tiers. But based off this Flint and Lady Jaye, I'm not even too hopeful for what the tiers may be for the Thunder Machine. Because what if they do like, I don't know, like Zartan in a jean jacket, right? Or what if they do like what's her name? Zarana in a different outfit. So now that could be a very much big possibility compared to us now thinking that we could have additional or alternative characters for the HasLab. So yeah, that kind of makes it a little bit tricky now, because after seeing these two tiers of Flint and Lady Jaye, whatever happens in the future is now like, I probably should not expect too much of super brand new characters, unless it's like I don't know, a vehicle that maybe we don't know would be needed. I don't know. Antonio says, my favorite streamer. Thank you so much, Antonio, man. That is beautiful. I mean, I will, even though I love 49er Brian's comment, because that's a very heartwarming comment to me, I'm gonna pin your comment for the end of the stream. I hope that means something. Victor says, for real, it's good to have you back. Thank you so much, Victor. Since I just pinned Antonio's comment, I will probably pin yours in the next live stream. Cold Slither will be 400, says Zoran. Who knows? Tanya, Zartan's daughter. I mean, Tanya would be a very good one, but now I'm kind of like hopeless in having those kinds of characters. I mean, if Tanya does come, that'd be freaking sick. Like Tanya, and what's the other one? Heart Wrencher. Oh, Zanya. Sorry, why did I say Tanya? Shit. Zanya, whatever. But Heart Wrencher, I don't know. I mean, there's a bunch of other Dreadnoks. Go on my channel and see the video I did on whatever Dreadnoks need to come next, and you guys will see. Zoran says, I never pin your comments. Alright. One day I'll pin your comment, Zoran. Sorry. But Zoran seems very disappointed. I apologize, brother. I will pin your comment one day. One day. Have hope. Faith. Couchboy says a small thunder machine and 6 figures, 350 with 8 motorcycles with lights too. Oh my goodness. That's a lot, Couchboy. So yeah, otherwise, I mean, that's pretty much it. So other than that, I don't really have much to say about the HasLab because yeah, we have till August 14th, so we still have a lot of time for this. So I think whenever we have the next tier unlocked, I will definitely stream again. I just don't know when. But in case I do not stream this week, oh shoot, Joshua with the $2 says happy 4th. Thanks for your Yojo June work. Thank you so much, Joshua, man. I really do appreciate that. That's a beautiful. Thank you so much for that channel donation. In case I do not come back this week for another live stream, I do want to wish everybody here in the chat, whether you're watching or those that are going to be watching later, you guys have a very beautiful and blessed 4th of July. Enjoy, stay safe, and, you know, eat some really good food on my behalf. And Sith Lord Style says, still not convinced that they can do the Thunder Machine as a HasLab. I mean, if they could really boost up the Snowcat as a HasLab, then possibly they could do that as well. Christopher Bouchard, welcome to the chat, says, hello Shark, and I'm thinking about a Snowcat. Well, yeah. Let's see. Couchboy says, what date is San Diego Comic-Con? I think it's July 24th to July 27th. So we should see the Cold Slither 4-pack be up soon. I mean, not soon, but like within 2 weeks. 49er says, happy 4th, Shark. Happy 4th to all you guys as well. So yeah, in case I don't stream this week, I'll probably do a double stream next week. But if, you know, otherwise, you know, it is the 4th of July weekend. So you guys... you know, so whenever we have the next unlocked tier, I'll have more videos and then we'll do more live streams from there. So for everybody that's in the chat, happy 4th of July to all of you. Thank you for all the support you do, and thank you to everyone who donated to the channel tonight. It really does mean a lot to me, and thank you for sticking around and supporting the channel in any way possible. So I really, from the bottom of my shark heart and great white hair, thank you guys. And damn, my hair looks really good today. Thank you guys so much for all the support. So with that being said, I think we will conclude tonight's stream. Thank you guys so much for everything, and even though Zoran is Canadian, hope everything works well. So eat some good burgers, have some great food, and I will see you guys all in the next live stream, whenever that is. But stay tuned for the thumbnail, and we'll have some great conversations then. So take care. Have a blast weekend. Stay safe. Hug your loved ones. And I will see you guys all in the next live stream. And thank you for making this fun. Without you guys, I would not be doing this. So thank you once again. Again, happy 4th of July. And I'll see you all